Then you get into training camp. Training camp for the first few weeks is the exact same situation. A lot of fundamental work, a lot of position work, just kind of getting good at being a football player and getting good at the things that your coaches want you to be good at. You don't really throw in scheme from the other teams until you're really the last week or two of training camp. That's when you start to game plan a little bit. Up till then, it's just Carolina's offense versus Carolina's defense, a lot like spring ball. But these practices are amped up. So now you've got full pads most of these days. You've got it's obviously significantly hotter. The practices are all going to be about 2 to 2.5 hours long. And you're going to get really good, again, at your fundamentals and hammer home the things that you worked on in the spring, which is, again, a benefit of having those spring practices. You can identify deficiencies in yourself as a player, and the coaching staff can identify deficiencies in the team as a whole, work on that in training camp. Then when you get to those last couple of weeks of camp, you start game planning. That transitions you into your in-season practices, which if you're working on a Saturday game day, which is typically, it's the standard model, you'll go Tuesday is your full pad, heavy day. Coaches will throw everything in the kitchen sink in there in terms of game plan. You work on that. You see what works. You see what doesn't. Then when you come back to practice on Wednesday is usually a lighter practice. So whereas Tuesday was 2.5 hours long, Wednesday will be a little shorter. Pads will be lessened, probably short shoulder pads. And then you've refined now what you saw didn't work game plan-wise. What you saw didn't work on Tuesday, you've cut that out, and now you start gradually refining the things that you know you'll be good at and you can actually use on Saturday to be successful. So you got your Tuesday practice, that's your Wednesday. Thursday is going to be more of a cleanup day, a lot of special teams, things like that. Again, short shoulder pads typically. It's a shorter practice, and that's just where you've now got your game plan set, and you're going to run through typically your first 15 if your coach scripts plays. You're going to get all of that ready to go for Saturday. Friday is a straight-up walkthrough day. You do that at a team hotel. You might do it in the stadium before you head to the hotel. And then obviously Saturday you play the game. So that's the difference between spring ball, summer, and then your actual in-season practices. It goes from, and you can see the progression, it goes from fundamental work and technical work all the way into game planning, using the fundamentals and the technique you worked on previously, honing them, refining them, getting them ready to go, and then applying them to a game plan. And that's when you start working in the season at those in-season practices. I hope that was I think that was I gave you the full breadth of what college football on a given week might look like year-round. But there was actually a lot packed into that very simple question. So I hope I gave a sufficient answer, and I hope that gave you a little more insight as to what a typical week will look like year-round for one of the Carolina guys.
Thank you for your time today, Mike, and your take on the distinction among the different kinds of practice. For Mike Ingersoll, this is J.B. Sissel. Thank you for watching ICTV.